Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you've ever tried to run a large language model and just sat there watching your server crash with an out-of-memory error, yeah, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're embarking on a journey to tame the memory-hungry beast known as the LLM. But we aren't going to do it by just throwing money at more expensive hardware. Instead, we're going to explore the clever engineering spells and optimization techniques that will literally let you serve 10 times more users on the exact same GPU. Here are our Tales chapters today. We'll start with The Memory Monster Awakens, dive into the physics of the cache, explore architectural magic from GQA to MLA, look at shrinking spells like cache quantization, cover system tricks with paging and prefixes, and finally, put it all together in your production playbook. So, why is your GPU out of memory? It's the ultimate machine learning pain point. You look at, say, an 80 gigabyte model. You look at your 80 gigabyte GPU, and you think, awesome, I can run this. You load it up, fire off a prompt, and boom, instant out-of-memory error. Why does that happen? Well, we kind of have this illusion that compute, the raw thinking power of the GPU, is the main bottleneck. But honestly, modern AI inference is fundamentally a memory problem. To put that into perspective, just look at this number, 135 gigabytes. If you're running a Llama 70 billion parameter model with a 1 million token context window, you need 135 gigabytes of memory purely for its working cache. That's like downloading a massive AAA video game just so the model can remember the current conversation. Think about that for a second. The model's actual static weights are only about 140 gigabytes in 16-bit precision, but the temporary working memory to process that context window, it's basically the exact same size. Chapter 1, The Memory Monster Awakens, Understanding the Beast. The core concept here is actually surprisingly simple. The KV cache, which stands for Key Value Cache, is essentially the model's magical notepad. See, when a language model generates text, it has to look back at every single previous word to understand the context. Without optimization, generating token number 5000 means recalculating the mathematical relationships of all 4,999 previous tokens from scratch. The KV cache fixes this. It just saves that intermediate math, the keys and values, for every single token. Instead of rereading the whole book for every new word, it just checks the notepad. The trade-off? You get incredible speed, but it costs you a massive amount of GPU memory. Chapter 2, Physics of the Cache, the Anatomy of Growth. Now, the way this cache grows isn't some dark mystery. It's a strict linear formula. To figure out your exact memory footprint, you just multiply the batch size, sequence length, layers, KV heads, head dimension, and the bytes per element. Then you multiply all of that by 2, simply because you have to store both the keys and the values. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you want to support more concurrent users, that's your batch size, or longer conversations, your sequence length, your memory footprint is going to balloon linearly. There is no way around it. And that leads us to a really crucial point. Once you push beyond a context window of about 128,000 tokens, that working memory actually outgrows the AI's permanent brain. It completely changes how we have to provision our hardware. You're no longer just buying GPUs to hold the model weights anymore. You're buying them almost entirely to hold this massive, dynamic notepad. This brings us to a really important distinction, the two distinct phases of AI inference. First, you have the prefill phase, where the model actually reads your prompt. This part is compute-bound. The GPU is just doing massive parallel matrix multiplications as fast as it physically can. But the second phase, the decode phase where it generates words one by one, that is entirely memory-bound. Generating text isn't bottlenecked by how fast your GPU thinks. It's bottlenecked by how fast it can read that massive KV cache across its memory bus, over and over again. Chapter 3, Architectural Magic, GQA to MLA, Rewiring the Monster's Brain. Over the years, engineers have been fundamentally rewiring how these models handle memories. We started out with standard multi-head attention, or MHA. In MHA, every single attention query got its own unique key and value. Total memory hog. Then we evolved to grouped query attention, or GQA. Here, multiple queries share a single key value group, which instantly shrinks the cache by up to 8 times. This is what almost all modern models like Llama 3 use today. But the newest, most exciting evolution, that's MLA, Multi-Head Latent Attention. Introduced by models like DeepSeek V2 and V3, MLA is a literal game changer. Instead of storing the full, bulky keys and values, MLA compresses them down into a tiny, incredibly dense latent vector. It only projects them back to full size when absolutely needed during inference. The result? a staggering 93.2% reduction in cache size compared to standard attention. MLA is the specific architectural magic that is suddenly making these 1 million token context windows economically viable for us to run in production. But the architectural research certainly hasn't stopped there. We're seeing brilliant alternatives pop up, like LRKV, which stands for low-rank key-value attention. See, while MLA gives you the absolute smallest footprint, it does add some computational overhead when you have to decompress that cache. LRKV offers this really clever middle ground. It uses a shared base projection but adds low-rank residuals for each individual head. This preserves the unique diversity of the attention heads, which keeps your accuracy high, while totally avoiding the sequence-dependent reconstruction delays you get with pure latent compression. Chapter 4. Shrinking Spells, Cache Quantization, the Art of Compression. Okay, this is where you get to make your most impactful trade-offs. It's all about choosing the right KV cache optimization technique for your production environment. Normally, standard cache is stored in 16-bit floating point, or BF16. But if you drop that precision down to 8-bit, or FP8, you instantly chop your memory requirement right in half. A 50% savings. And the accuracy drop? For most workloads, we're talking a negligible 0.3 to 0.7 points. It's practically free money. And hey, if you're lucky enough to have NVIDIA's new Blackwell GPUs, you can leverage the NVFP4 standard to drop the precision to 4-bit. That slashes your memory footprint by 75%, though you'll definitely need to carefully validate your accuracy if you're running heavy reasoning tasks. Now, if you do decide to deploy FP8, you actually have to pick a specific standard defined by the Open Compute project. It comes down to E5M2, which gives you a wider dynamic range, versus E4M3, which gives you much higher precision in a narrower range. For KV cache specifically, serving engines like vLLM will default to E4M3. Why? Because maintaining the nuanced precision of those attention values turns out to be way more critical to your model's overall quality than just having a massive dynamic range. And these shrinking spells are only getting more advanced. DeepMind recently introduced Turboquant. This technique compresses the cache down to an unbelievable 3 bits with almost zero accuracy loss, using some really complex mathematical transformations to smooth out data outliers. Meanwhile, modern serving engines are using tricks like layer skipping, where you keep the highly sensitive local layers in full 16-bit precision but quantize the rest, and fast KV, which completely decouples the tokens you process during the prefill phase from the ones you actually retain in memory during decoding. It's wild how much efficiency we're squeezing out of this. Chapter 5. System Tricks, Paging and Prefixes, Clever Storage. Traditionally, the KV cache had to be stored in contiguous, unbroken blocks of memory. That meant if a user generated fewer words than expected, massive chunks of your VRAM just sat there, empty and totally wasted. Enter paged attention. Popularized by the vLLM framework, this system slices the cache up into fixed-sized blocks, kind of like pages in a book, and maps them dynamically to non-contiguous spaces in memory. By eliminating that fragmentation, paged attention drops VRAM waste to under 4%. Honestly, today, it's an absolute requirement. You really cannot run a modern production server without it. And that leads us to another incredible system trick, prefix caching. This is heavily utilized by frameworks like SDLang with their Radix attention. Think about it. If multiple users query your app using the exact same system prompt or reference document, the engine just caches the KV values for that shared text across all users. So if you have an agentic loop or a multi-turn chat, a prefix cache hit means you completely skip that computationally heavy prefill phase for that text. We are talking an 85 to 95% cost savings. Just remember one catch. The text has to be a pixel-perfect byte match. Even a single extra space will ruin the cache hit, so keep those prompts clean. Chapter 6, Your Production Playbook, Putting It All Together. All right, let's bring it all together into a guide for choosing the right setup. When you are provisioning your inference servers, here is the definitive stack you should deploy. Number 1, paged attention is non-negotiable. It's the absolute foundation of your server. Number 2, if your application uses shared context, aggressively enable prefix caching. Number 3, unless you are running highly sensitive reasoning models on tiny contexts, default to FP8 KV cache quantization. It's basically going to instantly double your concurrent user capacity. Number 4, carefully select models that are built natively with grouped query attention or multi-head latent attention. And finally, always configure a CPU swap space. That way, if your GPU cache fills up during a sudden traffic spike, vLLM will seamlessly swap idle cache blocks over to your system RAM instead of just crashing your whole server. So by combining architectural compression like MLA, aggressive quantization like FP8, and clever memory routing like paged attention, we've done it. The impossible trilemma of long context, large batch inference is officially solved. A massive 1 million token context window is no longer just some theoretical research project. It's a completely accessible, cost-effective reality for production environments right now. So the only question left for you as a focused learner and builder is this. Now that the memory bottleneck is finally shattered, what incredible AI applications are you going to build with it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.